Welcome back to my breakdown and review of Black Clover chapter 359. This was such an incredible comeback from the break, and I am really excited to talk about this one. This chapter opens with Nozel being stabbed through the abdomen by Aesir's spear. Now, he does not die, or not yet at least, and the Silver Eagles brigade is completely annihilated. Salid and Nebra are down and bloody as well. Now, Aesir says some very interesting things here. She talks about how they could have been stronger, but they've been warped by conceitedness and hatred. However, then Aesir admits that she didn't love them enough, and she actually just straight up apologizes for dying. She further goes on to say that even if they are weak, she will always love them. And she even talks about starting over in Lucius's perfect world. Rather surprisingly, Salid seems to kind of be on board with this process. Before we can get his full thoughts on this, though, Noelle shows up, telling her brother to stand strong. This was just incredible and super exciting. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, Noelle is the first Black Bull to show up in this big fight that's going on. Aside from Yami, of course, being that he's paired with the captains, so it was kind of a given that he was going to stay here. Aesir then comments on how Noelle looks just like her when she was around her age. Now, Noelle acknowledges something, and I really like that she does. She brings up meeting Aesir's soul after the Megacula fight. Noelle then goes on to state that while that might be Aesir, she is not the one that they all knew. She is the one that they are supposed to defeat and surpass. And Nozel mentions that she's not strong enough to fight Aesir without undying, and I'd really thought this as well. We then enter a flashback. Noelle is crying next to the sea because Asta is gone and she was too weak to be able to do anything. However, Asta's words inspire her, and she admits that she cannot give up and that Asta is definitely alive. Out of nowhere, Kahono shows up. I wasn't expecting this, and I don't even remember the last time we saw her. She explains to Noelle that there is a major problem at the underwater temple, and that she needs her help. She arrives there, and we see this massive dragon outside of the temple. We're given some exposition regarding this dragon, and basically, it is a sea god that will awaken when the end of the world approaches. I initially thought Noelle was going to fight this dragon, and that was how she was going to increase her power during the final arc, but I was wrong. Rather surprisingly, in my opinion, the dragon says the world is in danger and that he must find a strong host. However, this host needs to both be a water magic user and also someone who can unite with it as though it were a spirit. So basically, Noelle is the only person for the job. Then in the present, we see the sea god with Noelle. He is super small and adorable, and he sits on Noelle's shoulder, very much paralleling Liebe after Asta forms the pact with him. We also learn that the sea god's name is Leviathan. Very randomly, Kahono and Kaito are here, like actually in the Clover Kingdom, standing next to Salid. I'm not really sure what they're going to do, if they can do anything, or if they're just here for moral support. I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see. But Noelle engulfs herself in this water tornado, and then we get to see her new form, Valkyrie dress, dragon form. Noelle confidently states that she will surpass her mother, and Aesir's eyes glisten as she expresses how proud she is of how strong Noelle has become. End of chapter. What a fantastic chapter this was. What are my thoughts, though? Well, I think Nozel was taken out way too quickly. And off panel at that. And it's a real shame because I really liked Nozel coming off of the Spade Kingdom raid arc, and I really wanted to see more from him in this arc because I just began to really like his character. Um, but he seems like he's probably down and out for the rest of this battle. And that's if he's even gonna stay alive. And even though Noelle isn't one of my favorite characters, her entrance was very exciting and it had me hyped. However, we also need to think here like, is Mimosa and Nero here as well? Because if Noct had told Noelle they were leaving to go find Asta, there's no way she would have stayed in the Clover Kingdom. And the last time we saw Noelle, she was with Mimosa and Nero. Just something to think about. The Sea God was also very interesting. Although I don't remember if he's ever been mentioned before. I really like the Sea God though, conceptually. And I think it's a really great power up for Noelle for the final arc. I'm also very, very excited to see Noelle versus Acier. And I do want to mention the art for the panel featuring the Sea God, as well as the double page spread featuring Noelle's new Valkyrie dress, is incredible. It looks fantastic, and Tabata is just such a magnificent artist. As for the design of the new Valkyrie dress, this might be my favorite one. Honestly, it just looks so badass, and I love the dragon aesthetic throughout the entire thing. I also think that it's very fitting for Noelle considering her water dragon spell that she's used multiple times throughout the series. As well as, if I'm not mistaken, the first time she used the spell was at the Seabed Temple against Veto. I had a blast with this chapter, and I'm only continuing to love the final arc more and more, as well as Black Clover as a whole. That's going to be all for me today. Bye, guys.